Alright guys, so on this video we're going to be removing this engine from my 20th anniversary GTI. Now what nobody really talks about is the things that you really need to pull an engine out from a car, such as the engine hoist. You're also going to need an engine stand. Well, that's kind of optional, but yeah. Now I did purchase these racks here for any spillage or whatnot, all the mess, just to try and keep the area clean. Also purchased a much needed portable workbench, some knee pads, because even though you never think you'll need them, they always come handy. Now we're also trying this something new, a Dawn professional degreaser. Hopefully this works good. We got little stuff like magnet, a brush to clean. We have a 25-inch breaker bar from Icon. We got some magnetic trays. We have this Quinn scraper. We have some CRC brake clean. Definitely this, which is the head bolt socket. This is a M10 or number 10 poly drive socket. It's unique. So just so you know, this is not a Torx or a triple square. This is poly drive, and it has to be this part number right here, which is whiskey 83182. And some gloves, definitely. Additional, we did purchase also some big boy zip ties, some regular zip ties, because you never know when you're going to need them. A 2-ton load leveler. This is this part here, and I got it mainly because I don't have a chain or chains. This comes with 2 long chains, as you can see here, and is going to help me level the engine as I'm pulling it out from the car. So pretty much, besides all of your normal tools that you will have, you need these in order to take out an engine. and that's the end of day one. So yeah, this kind of kicked my butt. It took me a long time. And if you're asking yourself, hey, Gio, do you really plan on taking the engine out and rebuilding it? I mean, this took you like 20 years. No, it didn't. It only took me like 45 or maybe an hour. So what, you know? But you know what? That just tells me that I need to buy myself a tool cart. I need to get that. So, might invest in it soon. Well, anyways, that's it for today. Day one. Got everything together and ready for tomorrow. See ya. All right. So it's day two, and we got some shade going on here. Now it's time to get working on the car. So I gotta find the tool to, I think it's a 17 millimeter hex for the axles. I need to take those off, and the triple squares. I think I know where they're at, but I'm not sure. That's the downside of not having a freaking toolbox. But all right, let's go and get the show started. All right. Now it's time to hit these. Let me see if you can see. Oh yeah, you can see them right there. Those are the ones from the axle. And I think those are M10s or M8s. I don't know. Let me check. So let's see. I know I put them here somewhere. Come on. All right. So after about 20 minutes of looking around, I finally found it. This is an M10. All right. Got a double extension here. This is what we're working with. And we're gonna put it all the way up there. go. All right, so it's finally time to drain fluids, but this oil pan is a little bit different. Let me show you. Wait, never mind. No, it's not different. It's the same. What is this, 17? So maybe 18. And then look at this line. It's like bent right here. You see that? Yeah, it's bent right here. That's not good. That's not good. And I need to take these 4 off. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wish me luck with that. So releasing these, draining fluids, and the shifter keels, and then we can pull this sucker out. Alright, so we're going to try with a 19. Too big. So we'll scooch this one over. I'm going to try with a, what is this, 17? Yep, it's a 17. Alright. Cool. How am I supposed to get to that? Fuck. Okay. All right, so we just got everything out of the way, including the cabling. This stays with the engine, and then some like the cabling for the alternator, for the starter, ground, and maybe like 2 plugs. Oh yeah, for like the AC that came off, so that's over here. And this will be the actual cabling for the engine itself, right? So the engine harness is right there. Other than that, everything is out, and we should be able to pull this engine out. Good morning once again. So now it is day 2. I mean, day 3, day 2, whichever, but so yeah, engine is ready to come out. However, I do need to make a quick run to maybe Home Depot to get the bolts that will hold the engine from here to the, where is it at? Engine stand over there. Not only that, but I also need to get me some bolts and nuts for this part here. So that's where I'm gonna hang the engine from, and here. Right there. So I'll be back. with that, we finally have the engine out. Well, engine and trans out. So I just wanted to point out to you guys the things that I forgot to disconnect. I wouldn't want this happening to you, because honestly, it's not fun. It's not safe to be between this. I mean, you never know what could happen, right? So check it out. One, I forgot to disconnect this line, which is for the clutch, right? Forgot to disconnect this. I forgot to disconnect oh yeah, this little line, which is no biggie. This I believe is for the turbo gauge inside. All right, I also forgot to disconnect my MAF. Again, no biggie, it's up on top, cool. What is a biggie is that I forgot to disconnect these heater core lines. All right, make sure you don't forget to disconnect those, definitely. And it was just that. Let me see. Oh yeah, and I also forgot to disconnect this sensor here. Wait, where are you? Huh? Where the heck? I don't know where that went. I must have put it on the side. Yeah, I did. I put it on the side. Sorry for that. Anyways, I forgot to disconnect the speed sensor, the one that goes here by the lines, which is this one here. Oh, actually it's here. You know what? Never mind. This doesn't have to go disconnected. I forgot, but this, never mind. Scratch that. So yeah, it was just that. Other than that, everything else was disconnected. And we have engine out. Disconnect the transmission from the engine, and we're going to be using this cardboard trick, which is very expensive. Yeah, this one, you want to go ahead and line up your bolts, give or take, to where you took them off from the transmission, simply because some of them are longer than others, and you don't want to punch a hole through your engine, which can happen. And if you don't do this, you run the risk of making that happen. Trust me. Finally time to put the engine on the engine stand, and this is what we're working with. We have M12, the M12-1.75 by 90. So the by 90, the last number, is the length, and the first M12-1.75 is the thread pitch. So these are the right ones to use. And I think this is the right one. I also got the washer just to keep everything safe. Get these going. All right, so we still have a few things to get done, but the main thing is I just ordered all the valves for the head, and of course the head is going to be sent out to the machine shop. While they're doing their thing, we're going to take the opportunity to clean up all the other stuff. I also need to work on the clutch. I do want to clean up and paint the transmission. I still got a few parts to order. I got to send both axles to the shop to get them rebooted. I also want to order a new intercooler. Most likely it'll be the side mount intercooler, since I don't want to deal with more piping and stuff like that. I'm gonna clean up the block and a few more things, so stay tuned. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for giving the like, subscribe, please share with your friends and family. And I appreciate you guys for the support. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.